Welcome to Power in Words, your sanctuary in the digital noise, your source of a quiet, resonant strength. We are here not just to share ideas, but to awaken the dormant energy within you and companion you on the journey to your most authentic self. We believe that words are not just sounds or symbols. They are the keys that can unlock the human spirit. And today we hold a key crafted by the brilliant mind of Mark Twain, a simple, profound truth that cuts through the fog of our complications. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. It is a sentence so stark in its simplicity that we are tempted to dismiss it. We nod, we agree, and then we return to the complicated architecture of our own hesitation. We are masters of preparation, architects of the perfect plan, curators of the right moment. We wait for the weather to change, for inspiration to strike like divine lightning, for the stars to align in some celestial permission slip. We live in the permanent dawn of almost, soon, and one day. But the truth, the secret that Twain so wryly points out, is that the universe does not reward the planner. It rewards the participant. The grand masterpiece is not born from the pristine, untouched canvas, but from the first, messy, irreversible brushstroke. Let us sit together for a moment in the quiet, pressurized chamber of that pause, the space between the dream and the deed. It is a place we all know intimately. It is the silence after the alarm clock rings, the pristine white of the empty page, the polished surface of the guitar that sits in the corner, its strings untouched. Why do we stay here in this comfortable limbo when our very souls are crying out for movement? The psychologist within us understands this paralysis. It is not laziness. It is a complex human tapestry of fear. We fear failure, yes, but perhaps even more terrifying, we fear the vulnerability of trying. We fear pouring our heart into something only to have it judged or worse, ignored. We fear that the reality of our effort will not match the grandeur of our vision. And so we protect the vision by never exposing it to the harsh light of reality. We become guardians of a potential that by its very nature begins to decay the moment it is hoarded. Perfectionism is the most elegant form of this fear. It is the voice that whispers, "Not yet. It's not good enough. You need more research, more time, a better tool." It masquerades as high standards, but it is truly the enemy of progress. It is the assassin of good in pursuit of a perfect that never arrives. We are so busy building the most flawless, this unsinkable ship in the harbor that we never actually raise the anchor and set sail. And we forget that the ship's purpose is not to be admired in the harbor, but to meet the sea, to face the storm, to feel the wind in its sails. The journey, the getting ahead, can only begin when we are willing to be imperfectly in motion. The first draft is supposed to be flawed. The first attempt is supposed to be clumsy. The first step is supposed to be uncertain. This is not a sign of failure. It is the signature of courage. Then there is the monolith of overwhelm. We stand at the base of the mountain, craning our necks to see the peak, and the sheer scale of the journey defeats us before we have even taken off our pack. We want to write the novel, but we are crushed by the thought of 300 pages. We want to change our health, but we are paralyzed by the lifetime of habits we must undo. We see the chasm between where we are and where we want to be, and we freeze. But Twain's wisdom reframes the entire problem. The secret is not to conquer the mountain. The secret is to get started. The secret is to focus not on the summit, but on the single, simple act of lifting one foot and placing it in front of the other. You do not write a novel, you write a sentence, and then another. You do not transform your life, you make one different choice, right now. You drink the glass of water, you put on the running shoes, you write the first line of code. The colossus of ahead is conquered by the whisper of now. This is the physics of the human soul. An object at rest stays at rest. An object in motion stays in motion. The start is the moment we defy our own emotional gravity. It is the most difficult part of the equation. It requires the most activation energy. But the moment you begin, a new force comes into play: momentum. The act of doing creates its own energy. The first brushstroke demands a second. The first note played invites a melody. The fear that seemed so monumental when you were standing still begins to shrink in the rearview mirror of your action. Anxiety, that spinning hamster wheel of what if, cannot coexist with focused action. The mind, so turbulent in its stillness, becomes clear and calm in its movement. You find that the task was never as monstrous as your anticipation of it. The dragon we paint in our minds is almost always more ferocious than the one we meet in reality. Getting started is the sword that slays the phantom. Think of someone you admire, someone who seems to be ahead, a master craftsperson, a resonant leader, a joyful artist. We see their finished product, the symphony, the successful business, the peaceful life, and we assume they were born with a blueprint we lack. But we do not see the archaeology of their start. We do not see the 1,000 discarded pages, the clumsy first attempts, the late nights filled with doubt, the simple, unglamorous decision, day after day, to just show up. They did not possess a different kind of soul. They simply possessed a willingness to be a beginner. They honored the small, fragile impulse to begin, and they protected it from the winds of their own doubt. Getting ahead is nothing more than the compound interest of getting started, over and over again. This call to action is not just for the grand life-altering projects. It is for the quiet pulse of life itself. It is the secret to healing. We wait to feel better before we engage with life, but it is engaging with life that makes us feel better. The start is making the bed when you are grieving. It is texting the friend you have missed. It is forgiving yourself for yesterday. It is the secret to connection. We wait for the perfect witty thing to say, but the start is just the simple, vulnerable hello. It is the secret to learning. We wait until we feel smart enough to ask the question, but it is asking the question that makes us smart. In every facet of our human experience, the bridge between stagnation and growth is built with the single plank of the first action. We carry within us entire worlds that are waiting to be born. There are symphonies trapped in our silence, books unwritten in our minds, love unexpressed in our hearts. We are constellations of potential, but potential by itself is a cold, distant light. It brings no warmth. It is the act that makes it real. The word secret implies something hidden, something known only to a few. But this is a secret hidden in plain sight, whispered by every ticking clock, by every rising sun. It is available to you right now in this very breath. The ahead you dream of is not a destination you must earn a ticket to. It is a path that appears step by step only after you begin to walk. You do not need more time, more permission, or a more perfect plan. You only need to break the beautiful, terrible inertia of your own waiting. You only need to begin. The rest, you will find, is just the sound of your own life finally beginning to move. The masterpiece is not the goal. The masterpiece is the courage to start. We hope these words have served as strength for your journey. To continue walking with us and to spark more of the power within, please like this video and subscribe to Power in Words. We are so glad to have you with us.